We truly live in an era where anything is possible. I never thought this day would come, but we have an official cheat code pretty much for Genos' territory battles, and Rose Tico is a part of that equation. She's tired of saying we're gonna win by not beating the ones and fighting the ones that we hate, but saving what we love. She's tired of that motto. She's going full on commando. Oh. She's been always a meme and looks like Kermit the Frog, sort of, in Galaxy Heroes. However, with the Finn Omicron here, if you're someone that cares about Genos' territories, it's been kind of a hot topic on Reddit and the community this past week, showcasing how great it is. I mean, when we saw the kit reveal for this, we knew that, you know, I said in the video, it's like a cheat code for Genos' territory battles, and we're going to show that in this gameplay here. A big shout out to everyone in our community sharing this footage. Omicrons are so hard to come across, and if you are going to invest in any Omicron fit matter, you want to know how good it is. And although I am not going to be investing in this Omicron, even though it's fantastic for this game mode, there are going to be some people out there where this might make sense, kind of like Rebel Officer Layer Gun. And I think I'm going to say this is, if you care about Genos' territory battles and you are missing out on the teams, it's an important game mode, sort of. But we have enough teams in the game. The problem with Genos' territory battles is not that we don't have enough teams. There's tons of light side teams that can handle. The problem is there's just mathematically not enough GP to max it out at this point. However, there are some people that, for example, push for Rey, for that matter, or Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, whatever the case might be, and you want to use these leftover guys, and you might not have a lot of teams left over. Things like Finn Omicron will make a huge difference. It literally is the automatic cheat code to beat it. And from the gameplay I'm seeing from a variety of these amazing people here, it's like 3 minutes, you're in and out. It's so dang fast, so dang simple to accomplish. So the reason why I do not advocate for territory battle Omicrons is it's like this. As we know, it's hard to get. Let's just say they're expensive, both free to play and pay to play. You kind of want to put it into something that you know is going to last for multiple years. Well, that's where Grand Arena territories kind of come in, because the thing about Genos' territory battles, the lifespan of it's going to be a lot shorter, because as you grow your roster, you're going to find enough teams to take on Genos' territory battles. Whereas in Grand Arena territories, where they're a lot more roster intensive and you're going to be using these Omicrons for a long time, you're going to get a lot more mileage on it. It's like if you were going to buy your car, you kind of want it to last, I don't know, 200,000 miles and not just 40,000 miles. I hope that makes sense. So if you are someone that's in that market where you just have it, like for example, I don't have a lot of characters on my free-to-play account. Of course, I would want like all these other great Grand Arena Omicrons, like for example Wampa, but I'm not gonna get Wampa anytime soon. I want kind of Omicrons that I can enjoy now. That's probably gonna be the target demographic, but still keep in mind, you're just not gonna get that much long-term bang for a buck out of it. But anyways, all that aside, let's just talk about how great it is. Let's just forget about all that and just assume that this is the greatest game mode of all time. With this, it's just, there's like no way to really lose. It seems like when you got this on here. Just a reminder, with the Finn Zeta, you're already getting so much turn meter gain for all the exposes you're hitting on the enemy, and you're removing some turn meter off of them as well. But with the territory at Omicron, it's literally going to the next level. You're getting tons of max protection up and health increases when enemies are attacking on a turn. So for example, like the Droidica or maybe the B1 battle droid, you're reducing their damage by 50%. You're going to revive all resistance ally with 100% health and protection, and they get protection up at the very beginning of battle, so you're guaranteed to always revive them over and over again. You don't need a dedicated reviver for this team. And then when he has Finn has determination on him, you're opening this giant Pandora's box of amazing things that utilize here that just cause this massive snowball to roll very, very quickly, even if the enemy outruns you. And spoiler, you know how those B2s are super annoying, opening up with those AoEs? Well, this team loves those nasty openings where you have like the doubled B2s, the double Droidicas. Easy money for this team, it would seem like, because when he has determination, you can't get critically hit. Fantastic. You have 100% counter chance. And that right there, you have to stop, because as we said, when you're hitting all these exposes, you're getting tons of turn meter rolling. So off those counterattacks, you can hypothetically get a big turn meter train rolling, especially, for example, when you're using resistance shooter, which is going to be an ideal unit here. When he's counterattacking, he's probably landing exposed, and someone's going to hit that expose and get your train rolling. And once you're rolling, it's really hard for the enemy to keep up with you. And anytime you're using a special ability, you're going to dispel all buffs on target enemy and inflict more exposes on them, which can't be evaded or resisted. And this is where Rose Tico can be very helpful because she gets tons of turn meter. And with the Zeta lead part, you're reducing cooldowns every time you're hitting these exposes. She can just keep pumping out special abilities on him, dazing the entire team, throwing out random buffs at her. Now, you don't need to use her, but there's a really crazy mechanic here. And I guess, you know, it kind of makes sense. You want Finn and Rose to have at least some sort of synergy among them, because before that, there really wasn't much synergy going on, and not a lot of synergy in the movie, if I have to be honest. But let's not bog down ourselves into the details here. With this, Rose can just constantly get a nice train rolling, constantly landing those exposes, constantly just keeping the train rolling for the team. Because the Resistance, fun fact, if you weren't playing the game around 2017, they were a meta team, squad arena meta team, because once they got going with the exposed train, they would never stop rolling. But we're not done yet here. Anytime a Resistance ally is damaged by an enemy, Finn has a 20% chance to get 100% turn meter, which basically turns him into a B2 super battle droid. And especially when you have the AoEs happening from the B1s, for example, or you got the constant assisting coming from the B1. So many opportunities to get Finn rolling. So if someone's about to get knocked down, boom, he's coming in. You can taunt, heal, cleanse the team, just keep him alive as long as possible. And again, keeping the train rolling if you want to have Finn start spamming all those exposed abilities out there as well. And on top of this as well, this is probably one of the nuttiest parts about this. If an enemy is damaged by a Resistance ally, for each expose in them, you're dealing additional true damage to all other enemies. So if there was like 5 exposes, you're going to deal true damage 5 times to the whole entire enemy team. And that can just literally cripple these enemy B1s, for example, like in a heartbeat. And that's one reason why it's so fast. Like normally, like for example, if you're in Mon Mothma, yeah, I actually have been having perfect 4-4 runs for the longest time with her in a Kyle Katarn, but you know, it's kind of, you know, it takes time. There's a little bit, or using Jedi Knight Luke lead, that's definitely one of the longer territory battles. Here, because of this, you're in and out so darn quickly, and on top of it, not like they needed it, Resistance allies are getting 10% health and they're gaining 2 speed when you're hitting these exposes on them, which caps out to 60 for the rest of the battle. So you're basically getting almost like half of a free mod set on these guys, and you're gonna ramp up those speed bonuses incredibly quickly on this team here. So overall, territory battles, this is gonna be great. Finn Zeta outside of territory battles it's kind of a C minus, maybe D plus type of team out there, but this Omicron literally takes us to some Super Saiyan insane levels when it comes to operating with it right here. And just a kind of a few key points to make sure you're running a turn meter train. Yes, you could use Rose. You don't have to use Rose, but just the mechanic of her constantly taking all these turns with the turn meter over and over and over again, spamming special abilities. You really just got to make sure you're getting all those exposed out there. So this kind of goes back to 2017 for those that weren't there. The core of the Finn team, which is good because you might want to save your other Resistance members for your Galactic Legend Ray you might have. But if you're not going to use the Resistance heroes, Resistance Hero Poe, Resistance Hero Finn, what you're going to inevitably want to use is obviously the Finn Omicron in the lead, of course. And then Poe, because every time Poe takes his turn, you're reducing those cooldowns when you're hitting those exposes. He's always going to hit his taunt, and that's how you're going to get tons of exposes landed on the enemy. And of course, the target enemy gets buffed, and it's so nice to try to control those Magna Guards that might be in your way. So with Finn, make sure you're spamming takedown. That way you get the stun and more exposed, but the heal is going to be nice when you need it. They get the taunt and to cleanse up the entire team. And on top of that, the other kind of important component besides Poe and Finn is going to be the Resistance Trooper, and it's very easy. This is why those counterattacks are incredibly good, because on his basic, he can apply expose. And with his unique ability, he's got increased potency, but he's also getting 55% turn meter when an enemy who is not exposed becomes exposed. So you're going to be pumping lots of turn meter to this guy, and he's going to be kind of the core engine to keep this rolling over and over and over again for your team. Outside of that, you can literally use whatever you want. Rose Tico is an obvious option in this situation. You have her up and running. You also have things like, for example, the veteran smugglers. The great thing about it is you don't really need to dip into the Galactic Legend rates, which usually has the Resistance heroes attached to them at that point. You literally use your leftovers and you get arguably one of the best teams, especially best non-legendary team inside of Genos' territories, and this might be helpful for those guilds that are struggling getting more than like 8-10 stars inside of Geo TB. But just keep in mind, again, in the long run, it's going to be one of those Omicrons that's going to teeter off, because Genos' territory battles it's kind of like this. We used to have Zeta specific to the rank core raid. They weren't really amazing, they weren't really needed, and they've lost like all their value today. That's what I'm getting. Whereas a lot of the Zetas you may have invested in 2018, they still hold their value to some extent to today. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why we usually say don't invest in territory battle Omicrons. Just develop the light side teams that are in the game. But sometimes you just might not have it. You don't have the resources to afford it, or you're just taking the game at a much slower pace and you just want to enjoy some fun. And that's where this is going to come in handy, ladies and gentlemen. Gungzdroids, big fan of it. And I guess one more pro tip too, if you want to keep the exposed trend alive, you know, Resistance Pilot also is going to get tons of exposed on outmaneuver, but just it's the old school Zeta Finn that we remember from 2017, literally juiced to the max, cooldown reductions, turn meter, constant free revives. As we said, it's literally a cheat code for Genos' territory battles. And if your guild's someone that's looking to improve their game a little bit more in that game mode, you can't really get much better than this except just building the other light side teams that exist out there. But it's a lot easier just slapping an Omicron to a team and characters that are already in your roster. And the best part is it's on leftover characters they're not even using as well. So that's how you split up. You have like 2 solid teams. Maybe you can even make 3 if you wanted to. 1 Galactic Legend raid team, 1 Jedi Training raid team. You might struggle with the Jedi Training raid one, and then you have Finn. But otherwise, guys, pretty cool stuff here. It's been really cool seeing people get excited about it. I think this would be something that I would invest in if we maybe get a new territory battle in the future. However, Siege has kind of made it evident they're kind of done creating these new unique content experiences. They have Datacrons now, Conquest, that they can easily just update things as things go along. But if there is a new territory battles, which I would be happy, Order 66 territory battle, I don't know, kind of cool, or Order 66 raid, whatever it might be. We'll see. But as of now, it's a fun Omicron, but maybe stick the greater in the territories. But if you do have it, let me know how you're loving it. I love hearing from you guys. You guys are amazing as always. So leave that like, comment down below on your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you not miss anything. And thanks again to all those sharing footage so we can show the people what they're looking into if they want to get this Omicron in their roster. But more importantly, just remember that it's great to be in the Empire today.